Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are very happy to have with us Chris Bloom of CHS. Chris, welcome. You're not only an assistant varsity basketball coach, but a head tennis coach.
Yeah, I have my plate full right now. So.
Man of many talents, right, Sam?
That's right. That's but we need people like that, and nice to have Chris, and he being an alum like we are from Connersville High School, just a little bit younger than you and I, friend.
A lot of people, Chris, call this week the most exciting week in high school basketball, sectional week.
It is. It's very exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. So.
But coaching, you look good being a coach, so it's favored you.
Well, I appreciate that. I hope it continues to favor me.
What about the Spartans? I know the kids have had some tough times this season.
Yeah, we knew there'd be growing pains. And some parts of the season have been a little bit more difficult than we probably expected. But at this point in time in the season, it doesn't matter what happened before. So hopefully we can step into the game Wednesday with some confidence that they can still get the job done and handle a sectional atmosphere, which will be difficult.
If the kids fight hard for rebounds, play hard, fight hard throughout the game, limit your turnovers, it's a winning combination, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to take care of the most basic things of basketball, which are what you mentioned, and hopefully we hit a few more shots than we did last week. But I think that they seem to be in good spirits still, which could be very difficult, and they still enjoy each other. So that's good for us, and just hopefully they can take care of the ball, play good defense, rebound,
yes,
and give themselves an opportunity in the end of the game.
Make your opponent uncomfortable on what he does, isn't that a key?
Yeah, I would take that one to what I talked about when I coached tennis, is that score pressure can change even the best of players, and that if you can stay close, they stop doing some of the things that they have been known for, because the pressure tightens them up, and that's no different when it comes to basketball. They'll start to freeze up, and if you can get that and you're ready to strike, then anything can happen. Like I said, we're back to 0-0 in the postseason now. So
that old cliche, throw the records out the window because we start over.
Yeah, I think when you're coaching, you look at, multiple sides of a coin. You're trying to find any way to go about it, and where we're at in the season, it would be toss it out. I think that if we were flipping the record to 19-5, you would say, remember who you are. And right now, we want them to kind of go and find some of that magic that we haven't had, but we know is there. We know they're capable, and we haven't seen the best this season out of them together as a whole. So maybe this is the time.
Coach Mack told me the other night if he could, we've had some good individual performances, but we need 2 or 3 guys or more in the same game to have good performances. We've gotten good looks at the basket the last several games. They just have not gone in.
Yeah, we've had the conversation where, some of our kids have been shooting well in practice, which is against a lot of our JV players. But at some point, you believe it'll go through the hoop, and then, their eyes will light up, and that changes a lot of things. But, they've been practicing well.
You were a shooter. When you see that first one go in, does it help get the second and the third one to go in?
Yeah, I think it allows you to stop thinking about your shot. And sometimes I think if you're missing, you're thinking about what you're doing and making sure it's trying to be relatively perfect with what you're about to do. And when you're shooting the ball well, you don't think at all. It hits your hands, it goes up, and you're
catch and shoot.
It's going in. It's going in. Yeah. So we have the ability to get there. We have some boys that can shoot the ball on the team, but we need them to collectively come together and put it together as more than just one or two here and there right now.
I know the kids, they want to win, they want to play well. They're not doing any of this on purpose, and I know they work hard just to get ready for Friday night.
Yeah, they do, and that's it hurts to see them not be as successful as you would obviously want to be in as a program, but I think that they bring effort to the table, and then that would just bring in the next word, which is execution, and that's what really needs to be a little bit better is how we execute throughout the game, offensively and defensively.
And getting to know them this season, they're good young men. They're quality individuals.
They're a very good group. They like to joke around with each other, but they're a very good group, and it's as a coach, it makes it easier to be around. We wish we could just be in a better spot at the end of the season, but
Been a rebuilding year, though. I mean, these youngsters didn't have a whole lot of varsity experience.
no. But in the end, you've got to grow up quickly sometimes. I
Yes.
mean, it's like any situation in life. Sometimes you're, or most of the time, you're probably not prepared for what's about to take place. And so you got to grow up quickly. And we were young and inexperienced at times, but about any year that you go in, you're building. So sometimes we're starting a little bit lower than other years, but you're constantly building. And once the boys get into their 4 years of high school, that's all you got is those 4 years. So.
And it's important the guys that sometimes step away and don't play, they only have 4 years of eligibility. You never get that back. So we're being serenaded here. But, and that's something that young guys and gals need to think about. That you can get angry, you can get mad because something didn't happen, and you say, "Well, I'm just not going to play anymore." But someday, I think they regret that.
One of my favorite things to tell the boys if we're on them about something is that some things do take time to learn and to grow into, but we have an urgency in our learning because we don't have a lot of time. And it seems like 4 years is a lot of time when they get to you, and we're like, let's get it now. Let's get it as quick as we can so we can keep adding to what you have. And the 4 years go by so quickly, and so you're just hoping that you can teach as much as possible.
And when you get on them, you're getting on them because you want them to do well, not because you don't like them or you're mad at them or whatever. You want them to come out and learn and do the best they can, I'm sure.
Yeah, a lot of things have been went over and addressed in some film or things like that, and you continue to feel like you say the same things over and over, and you see they're capable of getting it, and you're asking for a little bit more than they probably believe they give a little more, and we see that there's extra in there, and so you're asking for it and pushing them. So
I see the ability. I see them occasionally excellent ball movement. I mean, just moving around. We saw that the other night, but just not enough of it.
Yeah. Sometimes we get the ball to stick a little bit, and we talk if we're making shots and it's sticking, that's okay. But a lot of times, if the ball moves and we're moving, good things happen. And when I mention execution, they've got the timing of what you're doing is very important. And so sometimes we get going and we miss somebody that might be open in our, and so we talk about that quite a bit. Is that you got to be on the same page. You've got to see and understand what's taking place on the other side of the court when you're working together, and that's part of learning the game.
What are the prospects, Chris? Who's coming up?
we, like I mentioned, I think that we have a lot of talent coming through.
That's good.
I mean, JV wise, we've got some boys that'll step up, I think, next year, and obviously won't have a bunch of experience as well, but I think have been around and are starting to turn the corner in how they play the game, so they'll be able to impact the game for us. This year, the main ones that I had for most of the year bouncing back, Logan Young took care of the ball for us, had to make a lot of plays, and I thought he grew quite a bit in his playmaking ability and his ability to shoot the ball and not think twice about it. And then Maddox Reese shoots the ball really well for us. He started off slow this year, and then second half of the season, it was like, just shoot the ball. Just shoot the ball. Let that thing fly. And Zane Bentley, he just moves bodies, sometimes too much, but I don't think we've ever really complained that he moves a body and creates.
And he's pretty quick for as big as he is.
Yeah, he is. He surprises.
He's not real tall, but he's thick. He takes up a lot of room.
He surprises a lot of people. He does move well. And so those three have been the majority of what we've done. And, I mean, we brought up Rylan Keene early from the freshman team, and it took him a few games to settle in, and he's done a great job. And then that entire freshman group as well, have been successful, just like our freshman group last year. And that message to them was, well, we were 17-5 the year before, and you still have a lot to learn because the next steps in basketball for JV and varsity, you can't hide very much. They're going to find out your weaknesses and exploit them. And middle school, 8th grade has some boys that can handle and shoot, and some athleticism coming up, and that's exciting. So,
what was your JV record? You had a pretty good season.
This year we were 11-11. And
what do you want the underclassmen to do during the off season?
A lot of them need to get in the weight room. I mean, that's
the key
probably.
To it? You hear that from coaches. Hit the weight room.
Well, we've been pushed around quite a bit at times, and so if we're not going to be the tallest team, we have to be probably stronger, quicker, and in better shape conditioning-wise, so that we can play with some pace and play a little bit harder, a little bit longer. So that's a big thing. And obviously they need to work on their shooting and ball handling. Those are two keys, because if we're going to be smaller, we got to shoot the ball, handle the ball. So things will probably start to continue to look a little bit different each year, but they have to do a lot of that in their own time.
Okay, participating in other sports too is important. Yeah,
I've been on here before and said that we want them to play multiple sports.
Yes.
Does it sometimes hurt the development of skill in one particular sport? Sometimes it does, because they don't get to focus as much on what they're doing, but the amount of movements that they're getting in different sports and just competition is very beneficial for them. So we want them to participate in things.
And all those sports, and we hear all the coaches talk about hitting the weight room. Doesn't matter what the sport is, boys or girls. And when it comes to basketball, I think it can help them rebound, because, like you said, they're not going to be pushed around. That if they have some strength and a little bit of bulk to them, and able to penetrate better for shots. And I'm sure that you as a tennis coach can tell me strength in the legs and strength in the arms probably really helps with that sport as well.
Yeah, it all goes together. I don't think that it, like you said, it doesn't matter the sport that we're talking about, that you're when you're adding on that strength, you're going to be able to produce more force in whatever you're doing. You're not going to get usually as tired as quick. And then mentally is probably the biggest one. Without being tired, you can think a little bit more straight and not be concerned about your legs giving out and going away and your breath and those kind of things.
What about tennis? Is it looking good?
Yeah, last season we went, I think it was 15-4, won the sectional.
Yes.
And then we went up to, our regional has switched. We went up to Center Grove and we played Waldron the first round. And we had beat them in the season, and it was really close at like every spot. I think we beat them 4-1. But it wasn't, when you hear that score, it was so tight in all of our matches. We knew it was going to be a difficult win, and we lost 3-2. But we competed well. It hurts to lose that match. We competed well. And heading up to Center Grove, if we would have won, we were going to play like the number 5 team in the state. And when you talk about levels to a sport, tennis has multiple levels in there. The way they hit the ball, with the pace that they hit with all the time, and they're keeping it in play, would have been difficult. But we're in a good spot. We only graduate 2 boys. Our seniors were...
A lot of experience back.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of experience back. So Tyler Caudell and Caden Brock played 1 doubles for us, and we weren't sure how that was going to go because we were thinking about possibly splitting them to make our 2 doubles better, but they played really well together this year. And allowed us to keep a couple younger kids together to gain experience at our 2 double spot. So
Season begins when? Shortly, doesn't it?
Well, girls will start this spring. We are a fall sport.
Okay, so
Yep. So we start, well, honestly, basketball will be ending. We'll probably start workouts in April and start doing some things
Yes.
with the team. We have quite a bit of underclassmen that love the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a few boys. One, my number 3 singles player, he has his own machine. He goes out and he's hitting all the time, which is Anthony Strewing. He's out practicing all the time. He loves being on the court. And so he puts time. He was a freshman and played in our lineup. And so they're looking for big things for him in the future. And we've got probably about 4 boys from the middle school coming up that'll be fighting for spots as well next year.
Middle school, was that club sport or?
No, it's a middle school sport
Middle
now.
school.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep, it was club the first year. Now it's...
CHS has an excellent tennis facility.
We do. We've talked about this. I love, it's home. It's our home courts, but we love playing there. And the courts are usually some of the best around. So.
And when the weather's bad, can you practice in the field house?
Yeah, we'll jump in the field house and use a couple courts that we have, and we can just usually work on technique and things. The ball needs to be able to grip the ground a little bit so it doesn't grip the rubberized floor. So playing back and forth, we really don't do. We just work on technique when we go inside. So, but it's nice to have somewhere where we can do it.
CHS is getting a new baseball field. Can you tell us any kind of an update?
I couldn't give you an
It's
update
not your
on
thing.
No, I know a lot about a lot of sports, but I'm not sure where that's at right now.
Which reminds me, I have to share this story for those that didn't hear it. The other night when, at the end of the season, I interview the seniors every year, and so I'm talking to Brady Cloyd, and I said, well, what other sports do you play? And he says baseball. And I said, what do you think about that new baseball coach? And he says, oh, I don't care for him much. His dad's the new baseball coach.
They mentioned that the other night.
That's good.
I think we were having cake or something after a game for the seniors, and somebody brought that up.
Yeah, I just thought that was, he was so quick with that, so it was good.
Might take a look at the events this week at CHS and the middle school. On Monday, the middle school wrestling is home with Newcastle at 5:30 p.m. The middle school girls red basketball will be at Cambridge City at 6. On Tuesday, middle school red basketball at Batesville at 5:30. On Tuesday, boys basketball sectional opener at 7 p.m. with Greensburg and Rushville. On Wednesday, boys basketball sectional and continues with the Spartans and Franklin County at 6, followed by Batesville and South Dearborn at 7:30. Middle school wrestling at Northeastern at 6. On Thursday, girls red basketball home with Greendale at 6, another middle school game. On Friday, boys sectional continues with Greensburg and Rushville versus Lawrenceburg. It's Lawrenceburg drew the bye, and they'll be either playing the winner of the Greensburg-Rushville game in their ball game. And that'll be followed by the winner of the Connellsville-Franklin County, Batesville-South Dearborn at 7:30. On Friday, CHS Gymnastics advances to the regional in Indianapolis. On Saturday, boys sectional championship game at 7:30. So a busy week.
Yeah, I hope Spartans are still playing come Saturday night. And I'm not just saying this. I really believe they have the ability to do that. They get by Franklin County, and then they would play the winner of Batesville, South Dearborn, and we can beat any of those guys.
Yeah, Chris, nobody's overpowering as far as the sectional, is it? I mean,
No, you have to play well in order to win in our
yes.
sectional, obviously.
A little bit of luck, maybe.
Oh, always a little bit. Okay, so.
Okay.
But I agree. I think that we've played well against the top of the sectional. And even when you look at our game with Franklin County, when they shoot the ball exceptionally well in comparison to what they've done during the season, and we don't, that makes a big difference. So hopefully we can change that with some adjustments made. And then we've already beaten Batesville, which is possibly considered the top team in the sectional, and we played Greensburg really close. I mean, anything can happen, and we've got to believe that going in. And
like I say, play smart, play hard. Good things will happen.
yeah, I mean that's the key.
We know all the teams in the sectional. Have played them all. It's like our conference tournament. So learning about them, that's behind us. What do we do to get ready for this tournament? How do we prepare for that?
I mean, we know what to expect from whoever we're going to play, but I think that, we've lightened the load a little bit here late in the season. In our last practice, we went down to Greensburg Saturday and had probably one of our better practices this year, and I thought the morale was real high. And, they just have to be confident in what they can do, and you need to be fresh, physically and mentally, so that you have a chance. I mean, nobody's going to fool us with anything that they bring to the table. We know who's going to do what and what they're going to try to do offensively and defensively. So,
and we're not going to fool anyone either.
And we're not either. So we just got to execute what we're wanting to do and take some of the punches and be able to stand there and stay in the fight.
Talk about the bench players. How important is a bench, Chris?
Well, they can bring the energy. They've got to
Yes.
be obviously ready to get into the game, but they need to be bringing energy to their teammates while they're on the court with encouragement. And we always say that when they go to the bench, they should be the biggest cheerleaders.
Okay, good.
But they've got to focus on what's going on. They can't be surprised when they walk in
Yes.
and do something that their teammate has already done. And you're like, what's going on? They've got to be prepared before they go in as well.
Be ready to respond immediately.
And a lot of the bench has started. I mean, the rotation we've used on starters, just about everybody's gotten a start, it seems like.
Yep.
So that shouldn't be new to any of them coming into the game.
No.
We have to mention the Spartans fan base. It's great, isn't it?
It is. Actually, I would say at times during our JV games, I told the boys a few times when we went in, I was like, you would have thought that we packed the gym out because it was loud and exciting. And, even with the season we've had games where the fans are still showing up and supporting the boys.
Yes.
And our community supporting them through this time makes the experience for them what it should be for a Spartan. It should be special. And that's what we want when they walk through that tunnel, is that they get to understand how much the community cares about the sport.
Yes.
And you got to experience that as a player and a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I got experience coming out of the tunnel the other night. Hadn't done that since 1968 in the PE class, running out of the tunnel. But it was nice of the young men to ask me to join them out at center circle.
Yeah, yep, it is. I mean, they're thoughtful. Those boys are pretty thoughtful.
They are. As I said, good kids. I had opportunity yesterday, Blaine and Maddox, we all go to the same church, so we got to have a little talk afterwards, and just the nicest kids. And you know, when you see them in church and working with the younger kids, you know that you've got some good kids on the team.
Yeah, yep.
All the kids healthy, Chris? Are they in pretty good shape?
Yeah, I think we're as healthy as we're gonna be right now.
That's good.
So
Steele still.
he's still in a boot.
Yeah.
And so he rolled his ankle, so he won't be able to be playing or anything. But we're healthy right now.
A win in the sectional would go a long way in building confidence.
Yeah, any win would, but this would be big.
Okay.
They've got to keep, obviously, like I said, believing, but they've got to piece something together. And you know, once you get one, it can turn into a couple more. And I think that they do believe that they can play with anybody that is out there, and especially in the sectional. So it would be really special if, even after a season like we've had, that they could put a run together.
Is there such a thing as a home court advantage?
Yeah.
By how many points? You don't want to
I wouldn't
go that
say
far.
that. I wouldn't. Yeah, I think honestly, if you talk about the sectional atmosphere, I feel like sometimes that home court advantage could be disappearing because if you're top of Greensburg, the expectation is higher. Your hometown is easier to support because you're home. And if things start going sideways, you might hear the moaning and groaning.
Well, we saw that here a couple of years ago.
And it weighs on them, and all of a sudden they don't perform. So sometimes it can hurt.
A lot of pressure, you think?
I think so. I think that's where it comes back to mental toughness is, are you just engaged in the game as a player, or do you notice everything going on around you? So
Greensburg's a defense sectional champion. They won the sectional last year, went and lost in the regional, Sellersburg by a couple of points. So let's knock Greensburg off that perch, okay?
it would be nice. We're hoping to.
Chris, thanks a lot. We appreciate you taking time out from a busy time, practice and everything. And best of luck to the Spartans and your tennis team.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to, well, I say we'll look forward to. I'm thinking I'll be back. I won't be back next year, but I'll look forward to watching your guys play from the stands instead of from courtside.
Yeah, you'll be around.
I'll be around. I'll be around.
Chris, the end of your line for Spartans broadcast?
As soon as the tournament's over, and I've been telling people that Spartans only have to win 6 more games and we're state champions, and I'd love to follow them all the way to Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Chris, there's a challenge for you.
Yeah?
Okay.
We'll see what we can do.
Thanks, Sam, and thanks everybody for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Have a nice evening.